Okay, everyone, Peter Mingles here. You're listening to us on, or watching us on radio. This is a special podcast, I guess they call it, with a good friend of ours. Her name is Jody Bear. Jody and I have been doing radio shows. The radio show link that you'll see below, it's buildingfortunesradio.com/Jody. And every once in a while, she asks me to come on camera, so she can be on camera so we can do a little broadcast, because she likes the cameras. Stuff. And I'm okay with that. But we are here for a really special broadcast with Jody Bear. I'm going to kind of step out of the way so you'll be able to see Jody. And we have a special guest. Take a look at this, but it's going to be on Building Fortunes. We have our audio will be later on, but we'll have it on our Facebook page, our YouTube page, and also our Twitch page, which is there for a while as well. I'm going to do this. I'm going to say, Jody, I'm going to close my window and back to you.
All right. I hope that we're live. I hope that you can hear me. And this is just a delight because many of you know, and if you don't, I'm Jody Bear, Health Coach Jody. We've been doing these broadcasts with Peter Mingles, who is just Peter Mingles extraordinary. We've been doing these for almost 7 years. It's amazing. Now we brought this in to YouTube. We brought this in to the video, and you'll be able to see it not only on Building Fortunes Radio, on the Facebook page, but I was able to technology-wise put it on my personal Facebook page, Jody Nylander Bear. So for those of you that don't know a little bit about me, I'll just give you a little blip, and then we're going to get right in to why this is so important to me. And I'm so honored and privileged not only to work with you, Peter, but also to have our special guest here. This is called, as I always say, it's some kind of an edition. This is Dr. Mark Gravity Ball Edition. But like I said, let's just bring you back to a little bit about me, Jody, a girl from small town Montana where there was one traffic light. But guess what? I found something that I was focused on doing, and I was very good at it. I was a classically trained vocal musician and a classically trained pianist. And I left at 18. I believe that I probably took that traffic light with me so that I could take my vision, my passion out into the world. And that's what I did. I sang in some of the finest concert halls and stages and opera houses in Europe and North America. But health became my passion when, as a young woman of 26, my mother was diagnosed with pancreatic and liver cancer. I was just absolutely devastated, but I became relentless to find something that would assist my mother in quality of life. And what I found were great holistic protocols that I use as a health coach to this day. But I was able to go in and help her so that she had quality of life. As I said last week, many more quality of life milkshakes. 3 years almost, well beyond her 6 weeks to live diagnosis. But my mother gave me one important ingredient in my legacy, my milkshake that I'm giving to others, to the 800,000 pounds of toxic weight loss, what I've been doing since Bob Bear found me on the beach and we married actually 10 years, 2 months ago. But also to go ahead and give people that they can find energy. And when they find energy, they have this ability to have vitality in their life. But then, get this, energy bringing into vitality then will transcend to longevity. And I say that as a 67 years young senior adult, that you can have energy, you can have vitality, and you can have longevity when you have the right ingredients in your milkshake. But tonight's topic is one of these that is so important to me. I've always said you can't exercise your way out of a bad diet. You can't exercise your way to health. But when you have the right ingredients, when you have the right components, that will make all the difference in the world. You just wait. When you have the right exercise, when you have the right holistic plan, you can have that energy to vitality and longevity. And when I find something, Building Fortunes Radio listening and the viewing audience out there, when I find something I go, wow, this is cool. In my 40 plus years, when I started as a health coach, and they said, gee, quizzically, what sport do you coach? And I would say, your body. And then they would still look at me like, oh, is that football? Is it soccer? No, it's your body. Una cuerpo, una vida. One body, one life. And I am honored and privileged to bring Dr. Mark Chavez to Building Fortunes Radio. I found him on Clubhouse, but I think it's law of attraction that people find you. And pun intended, I gravitated toward him. Yes, gravity ball, what can I say? But his expertise and his passion. And before I go any further with my introduction to Dr. Mike, I just want to honor you, Dr. Mike, as an ER physician in the Los Angeles area. I can't even imagine how you've needed the gravity ball. And I can't even imagine how you've needed these tools from mind, body, and spirit to do what you've done as a frontline worker this past year. And I really want to honor you for that, because it's no small task in what you've done for humanity, period. But what you're going to do for humanity now is an exclamation mark, not a period. And what you will do with this gravity ball starting, I believe, tonight, and with your expertise, Dr. Mark, your passion and your vision for health, it is just evident. It was evident to me in like 0.03 seconds. And I know my viewing and listening audience, it is going to be for you too. So welcome to Building Fortunes Radio, the podcast edition, Dr. Mark.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's really an honor to be here. And I'm always happy to be talking about how to keep people healthy and give them a really long and quality life.
And that's what you've done. And I mean, so tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and your background, if you would, please, Mark.
Of course, Jody. I would love to. I grew up an only child in a household of a military veteran, and my mom was a secretary for the state of New Mexico. If anybody knows where Santa Fe, New Mexico is, I grew up there, small town. I was an only child, so I was always outside exploring. My father was a health and fitness buff, and he was also a bodybuilder. So I really got my education from my father in terms of the importance of exercise and health. And I would go with him to work out, and I would watch him exercise. And that all kind of got into my nervous system and my brain as a kid. And so I always knew that exercise was a big part of being healthy and having a quality life. I just wasn't a bodybuilder type myself. I was more of a just yoga, Pilates. I like to try different things. I love to move my body. I love to stretch. And so one thing I really wanted to do is I wanted to get back my health, because in 2012, fast forward as an ER doctor, I went through medical school. One of the reasons I went through medical school was because I always wanted to know what was happening with my body. And I think one of the situations where we're most vulnerable in life is when we're sick and we're relying on these medical people to take care of us and tell us what's happening. And I always wanted to be informed. I didn't want people talking about me. I wanted people talking to me about my health. So that was a big motivator for medicine. And obviously going through medicine was a challenge, but I learned a lot of things going through. And one of the things I learned is it's really hard to stay healthy when you're going through a medical school training and residency program. And so I lost my health, and I had always been healthy. And so I had never felt like that before. I had no energy. I was 60 pounds overweight. I was depressed. I really couldn't really stand feeling the way I could anymore. So I did something kind of drastic, or what a lot of people might consider drastic, is I quit my job as a physician in the emergency room. And that was really to take back my health. And around the same time, my father lost his ability to grip anything after he had a surgery. So these things kind of happened very close to each other. That year I took off, my goal was to really embark on getting my health back. And as part of that, I'm a very sort of creative person, and I wanted a different way to exercise. So I thought, what better way to stay working out and stay consistent with your exercise than creating your own way to exercise? You own that exercise, right?
That's great. That's great.
As opposed to going somewhere else and doing somebody else's exercise that they tell you what to do. But then at the same time, I thought, well, since my dad and a lot of other people can't hold weight, why don't I develop a way that would include them as well? A way that people that couldn't grip weight could still exercise using weight, because I knew how important it is. Without our muscle, basically that's when we start to die. Our metabolism goes awry, it stops working correctly, and everything else just starts to die. So the last thing you want to do is lose your muscle mass in life. And, Jack LaLanne is a perfect example of that. For those of us who remember Jack LaLanne, he would have lived longer, but he was in his older years, but he was so healthy. And that was because he kept his muscle mass. And so his metabolism, as a result, stayed healthy. And then that kept the rest of his organs operating normally and healthy. So part of the gravity ball method involved in developing a way to exercise that didn't require grip. And so that's really what makes the gravity ball different. It's a weighted medicine type ball that allows people to exercise using different weights without having to hold the weight. Think of a basketball player who can palm a basketball with one hand. Now everyone could do that because the actual gravity ball grabs onto you. It holds on to you. So then all you're concentrating on is going through the different movements and going through the different exercises that are more functional in nature. Now with the added weight is really going to strengthen that body and really get those joints strong and really keep that muscle mass.
Well, and Mark, I've got to say we've got something in common, Dr. Mark, because here I found my passion and my legacy through helping my mother. You found your next legacy and passion by helping your father. I think that's a beautiful part of the story. And I'll just say that in Central Florida today, last night, we had a tornado come through. I mean, I lost half of magnolia tree. It's been torrential rain. I've got a bougainvillea that it covers half the house, and we can't even get out of the front door right now, but we have power, okay? It was a big storm. And so what I normally do, Dr. Mark, I exercise out of the house. I'm going, I am doing and I went through and grabbed 2 easy of these, yes, the gravity ball method. And I want to thank you for mine. Yes, I have it here. And I can say this was the first time I've done a lot of just movements in the morning. I love it. I love it for the core. It really does amazing things there. But this is the first time that I actually a 30-minute workout, and I can just say, oh my goodness, that's health coach Jody, and I consider myself pretty healthy and muscular. It was amazing. So, Dr. Mark, I mean, this inspiration. So, how did you figure out the straps and all of this? How did you create the different ways, and how did that come about?
That came about with actually about 3 years of just trial and testing and building handmade prototypes. So I would build these prototype gravity balls in my apartment at night with sand as the weight in the center. And I would attach straps and different attachment points and different belts to the ball. And I would try to go through different exercises. So what I wanted to do was maximize the different strap systems that were going to be part of the ball to allow the user to basically reproduce any exercise that was producible in a gym or with standard equipment. So that's really the answer to that question. Is that was the design that allowed the most exercises that would reproduce the most exercises without having to have the same numbers of equipment that we now are kind of used to in terms of walking in and having a whole gym full of equipment.
And think about it. Now, many of us are exercising at home and whatever, how beautiful this is. Leg straps, feet straps, grip here. I went through absolutely everything that I would do, like a lat pull, like a dumbbell. I went with the biceps, whatever. And then I ended up, since I am a big one on yoga as well, I just went through and did my favorite yoga poses holding it. And it was absolutely amazing. So I tell you, viewing audience, you are in for a treat, because Dr. Mark, enough about talking about this thing. And yes, you can go to gravityball.com and get your own. I can say that because it's so worth it. I mean, Dr. Mark, I'll tell you right now, I sit on a ball. Yes, I do not sit in an office chair, never have. So I'm sitting on the exercise ball. I've used medicine balls forever in training for a triathlete competition, but like my husband says, oh my, now we can get rid of half the gym that's in the TV room and have the TV room back. So I am just waiting to see you do your deal. So take us through what you want to. The next 5 to 7 minutes is yours.
Oh, sure. I'm going to just show you some basic exercises. They can get very difficult, which is the really nice thing about the gravity ball is it grows with you in terms of as your abilities get better, as you get stronger, as your mobility gets more, then the diversity and the variety of exercises you can do also increases. So that's a really cool thing too. I have mine right here. And I'm gonna just turn it a little bit over here. And then you can kind of see.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I like to start with some mostly static exercises. A lot of people are used to doing repetitions or they're moving up and down kind of thing, or they got a dumbbell and they're doing curls. You know, that's not a very normal movement for us. So if you think our day-to-day movements, we're not going to be doing those things except for in that one situation when we're in a gym lifting weights. So, you know, I'm all about maximizing your time and your energy and your effort. So when I'm doing exercise, I'm reproducing things that are going to help me in life. And so if I am holding on a tree because I'm trying to cut the branches off and I need one hand, you know, this is going to be a very, very little use. It's going to kill me. If I do that, I'm going to fall down. Right? So this is going to be very similar to me holding a tree. So what I'm doing is with my right hand that's up in the air, that's in the top, I'm pulling really hard. I'm pushing away from my body with this hand. But with this hand, which is closer to the ground, I'm pulling the opposite. So I'm having a tug of war with myself. Mm-hmm. Now we can slowly rotate and keep that tug of war. So keep the tension on the straps that we're holding. And I like to, sometimes I'll put my hand through it and then I rotate and I get my thumb and I get it underneath like that. So I have a little bit extra tension there. Yeah, so now we're gonna do stairwells. Keep that tension high. You see the difference between hold it right in front of you, straight in front of you, straight in front of you. There you go. Now we're gonna rotate to the horizon. Right, we're still pulling the straps out very tight, a lot of tension pulling. Now we're going to go the other direction. Yes. And you see how it's rotating like that. That is even more challenging to keep it still because you have a little bit of off center weight. So these are all real life situations. If you're holding a child, the weight's not going to be exactly in the center. The same thing with any kind of baggage or packages you're holding. So you see, all I'm doing is I'm going through different standard type rotations and movements as I'm keeping tension on the gravity ball. Now the weight of the gravity ball is pulling down constantly. So I'm also having to engage my core to do that. Now my shoulders I'm about 2 minutes into this. My shoulders are completely burning.
Yes.
Burning. But I'm not causing any damage to my shoulders because I'm not doing repetitions. I'm not doing multiple sets and repetitions of weight of dumbbells, say 10 or 15 or 20 pounds. So think about your joints. Your joints are just like your car shocks. The more you use your shocks going through bumpy roads, the less time those shocks are going to be good. The more times you use your joints, going into a gym using a kettlebell or doing something like that, the less times that joint's going to be available to do that motion. So part of what we're doing with the gravity ball is we're minimizing our joint movement, but we're maximizing the muscles that are stabilizing those joints. So you see, with very little movement, I'm engaging my entire body.
Yes.
This look easy to do, but this is hard to do. Now, can you see at the same time is I'm really getting that stretch and of my back, the scapula, and that's really going to help our spine, because with all the sitting, we start to our spine curved, and what we need to do more of is weight behind our neck, looking up or straight. We need to stop looking down so much. So when we're exercising and you're doing your squats, and say you're watching TV or something while you're doing this, this is a perfect way to do squats. Because it's keeping your posture how it needs to be. Because most people won't have someone there correcting their posture or telling them how to position themselves better. What the ball does is it allows you to do that by creating tension and having you pull your spine back into the correct position. So those are just some of the ways you can use it. I just scratched the surface.
Oh. I mean, for real, and I've got to give another shout out and testimony, because because of having multiple very severe car accidents and injuries, my neck is not the best that it's ever been. I mean, I've herniated every disc in my neck. At least I did it all of the above, Dr. Mark. But what I've noticed, I've had this ball for a month. And what I've noticed is that area in my thoracic, behind my shoulder blades, right, I should say in the same parallel, my shoulder blades, it's like, even when I go in and I swim and I do butterfly now, I don't feel tension. Yeah. At the end. So, but my testimony is for this. If you're seeing this and Karen Butler, KB Fit 2020, you're the one that got me turned on to small, intense movement. And when you can do small, intense things over a shorter period of time, intervals are it as far as exercise goes, because energy will create vitality, which will give you longevity. And what I've seen with this, it is a great accompanying thing for me, who likes to swim, except for when there are tornadoes in Florida. Go ahead and do swimming every single day. And I'm not going to chop those trees down in the front of my house, Mark, but I probably could, because I feel like I'm getting some real great muscle tone in there. So anything else you'd like to do as a demo?
So, you just did a great one there where you're holding it, right? And I got the other side, my other hand's holding it down here. So even while we're at work and we're at the computer so much, these are very easy things you could do. And you could be pulling it up and back down. So again, you're playing tug of war with your right and left hand, which is increasing the amount of force, but you're not really moving more at all.
No.
So I would just encourage you to try some more different creative ways. Think a little bit outside of your normal movements. And then I would love to jump on a Zoom with you to give you a specific 15-minute routine that I do every day that I think you would love.
And guess what? Viewing audience and listening audience, we're going to be able to do that this week, Tuesday, I have captured Dr. Mark, the Gravity Ball MD, for a take two, a 2.0. Tuesday, it will be 12 noon Eastern time. It will be on Zoom, and it will also be on my Facebook page, Jody Nylander Bear. So it'll be noon Eastern time, 9 Pacific time. We're going to see that 15 minutes, either going to be your breakfast routine, or for me, it's going to be the lunch and learn. So, I mean, I think that Dr. Mark, you've just got such a passion about this. Your expertise is extraordinary, and obviously your intelligence for getting through and to and being a part of the system. But how beautiful now that you can be a part of wellness, not just medicine. And I want to acknowledge you for that. So what is your vision now in the health and wellness industry, just to wrap things up here a bit?
Well, my vision right now in the more short term is to get physicians to start prescribing exercise programs for their patients. So this would be one great way to introduce an exercise prescription, if you will. So you're not walking out of the doctor's office only with medications, but you have a specific exercise prescription program for you. And that's my close term. In the longer term, I'm shooting to make a different healthcare system, a different, better healthcare system.
And I was inappropriate when I first called you Dr. Mike, because my colleague, my esteemed colleague, Dr. Mike Van Thielen, that's the first connection I'm going to make. And we are going to be doing this again, Dr. Mark. I can truthfully say, as I started out, one of my favorite quotes is, life is like a milkshake. Choose your ingredients wisely, body, mind, and spirit. And when you do, and you can exercise your way to health, you will get a transformation unlike any other. And I really do believe that this gravity ball is something that is revolutionary. Sitting on my balance ball now, using medicine balls my whole entire life, this is really a part. As I've said, Jody's my name, health's my game. I'm going to bring you what I really believe is the most important thing. You can get a hold of Dr. Mark on health at HealthMD on Instagram. His website is gravityball.com. If you need any more information, reach out to me, Health Coach Jody, at 800-820-0584. That's 800-820-0854. Or you can hook me up at Wellness Coach Jody. But join us Tuesday noon for our lunch and learn Eastern time, Pacific time, 9 a.m. And we'll get that 15-minute thing going on here, because to be the best that you can be, you just need to hang around not only people like Dr. Mark, but Health Coach Jody. But Dr. Mark, I've got to say, maybe Newton developed the theory of gravity, but you, Dr. Mark, put it together with the ball.
Oh, thank you, Jody. I love that. I might have to use that.
Please do. I do have a way of original. So Peter, close us out here, and we'll be back on the radio show exactly 31 minutes. Peter, over to you.
Excellent. I think, Dr. Mark, thank you very much. And for all of us that work from home and probably in a chair, it looks like this is a great exercise, Jody, that we can do while we're watching, YouTubes or Zooms or whatever else. So great stuff. So thanks for being creative, and I love the story. So we're going to catch everybody next week, buildingfortunesradio.com. Well, actually, you can catch Jody every Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, Building Fortunes Radio, Jody. And we're Dr. Mark on radio show. Jody?
Yes, in 31 minutes.
We'll have his contact information up there as well.
Absolutely. It's buildingfortunesradio.com, and it's going to be the radio edition.
Published.
So you got to visualize the ball.
Right.
Right. There we go. Yeah, exactly. So we'll page with a link up for being here.